good? We're recording? I think so. All right. Hello. Welcome back to another video. Today's is gonna be a very short one. And that is I'm not really gonna explain a whole lot about the model. I'm gonna be talking about the FinBERT model, which is financial. It's just a financial model of the BERT model, which is Google's transformer approach to data classification. Well, I'm sorry. Let me get my words straight. If you are purely a visual trader, like if you purely use candlesticks and you don't want to touch machine learning at all, this is not the video for you. Um, but if you are getting into machine learning, if you're getting into algorithmic trading, this is definitely the video for you. Because what this is a classification model used to predict market catalysts. So for big macroeconomic releases, um, for policy decisions, for even like sentiment analysis, like it analyzes social media to an extent. FinBERT model is, arguably the greatest model. Right here we can look, leverage a data set of 10,000 sentences from analyst reports previously classified by researchers, then compare the performance against a bunch of other machine learning models used to predict catalyst. FinBERT model substantially performs them with an accuracy rate of 88.2% compared to 62.1, 73.6, a bunch of 70s. Right? 8% higher on catalyst prediction is absolutely insane. And that being the case with negative sentiments, near 90% accuracy. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because this is all open source. You can get the entire model and hold on. You can get the entire model and 3 different versions of the model. I think this is a T2 financial data model, so this works a little bit more for macroeconomic releases. Things like the Fed, CPI, job reports, jobless claims, etc. Those things all work pretty well for T2 financial reporting. You have your PY torch model bin. I honestly don't know which from Flax and PY torch is the weighting, which is a little bit more sentiment focused, like a little bit more around earnings calls and social media sentiment, things like that. But both are less specifically tailored to financial events, like financial tailored events. But um, one of them I think is a little bit more like if you wanted to be like a vibes trader, which sounds really stupid, which does sound really stupid, but to a degree, like risk metrics are kind of vibes. Like there's math that is put in to suggest like a range. So like if you are just an idiot, like you're completely wrong about the vibes. But if you have a good bit of common sense and you understand like the overall system, yeah, you could probably be a vibes trader. Who knows? The only reason I wanted to make this video though, and I'm making it very quickly, is just to make this kind of more known about. Um, I've not really seen anybody talking about it because I was interested this weekend on catalyst classification of how you would weight that for an ML model and how you would be able to be very inclusive of that because like any ML model you're building, right? Like if I have CPI and then its impact, I have some metric that is calibrated, with even, you know, maybe even about decay curves from those events, and so then you apply that. That still doesn't do much to like on an FOMC and on a rates meeting. Typically, those rates are already priced in. Like if we're expecting a 25 bips cut, the market probably prices in a 25 bips cut the week before. But that is in a way a catalyst that did determine market direction. But mapping that, ML wise as like a retail trader is pretty difficult to be able to say like why was this price, the uh you know optimization of the predicted rate cut. How can we even see that? It could have just been, you can make almost any excuse for why price moved unless you understand that. And then you don't actually know the BPS cut, so you don't know that until that happens. But if you have, so this is like for people who are all algo trading. Unless you're utilizing some form of a dynamic decay model or a prediction model that has some degree of foresight to see, like, okay, typically, you're trained on this amount of data, this happens prior to the event. But then even if you're doing that, you are like, you're getting close to the FinBERT model. It's just not in BERT form. And we can discuss a little bit about why BERT is a little better. Um, but we can go into the data of why it's a little better. Um, but I honestly looked through the articles and the code itself and how it's structured and how much data was given. I'm pretty sure this FinBERT model is trained on roughly 35,000 um, instances, which is kind of crazy across social media, macroeconomic events, policy decisions. So it's it's kind of insane, especially that it's all free. It's literally all free, downloadable. Um, very very useful, very easy to install and integrate, very lightweight as well. It's like a gig. It's a 1.5 gigs total, but you only need one out of the three of these. Um, so yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to really show was there's some AI things where I'm hesitant on, where I'm like, ask yourself, what is this really doing? Like I see a lot of like options analysis, AI options analysis. And it's like you pay for them to basically do 5 equations with options data. And it's like at a certain point, that thing is doing nothing, you know? Like you're paying for something you could have ChatGPT build for you in 30 seconds and have no computer knowledge at all and have it, run as a Google extension, scraping DOM data. I don't know. But like there's some things where it's like, how useful is this actually being? So whenever I see like Prozis AI, I'm like, oh. But then if you look at, who Prozis is, you're like, all right, maybe. And then reading through FinBERT as a model, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty useful. Um, runs on a lot of data, and the BERT model itself is a pretty constructed way to categorize data. But yeah, that's all I really came to talk about today. Is just if if you're in machine learning at all, and you're like, hmm, I don't really know how to predict, you know, catalysts. Like I see that in active portfolio management and in hedge action, you have catalyst times time times exposure. That's a pretty simple equation, and I don't even know if I got time right or exposure right. But you know, catalyst is one of them, and in multiplication, all three of those are very very important. Uh, but seriously, if you're looking to uh, trade sentiment based and trade in some way portfolio mirrored, you need to have some degree of catalyst knowledge, and this is a pretty good open source model. So yeah, ciao.